as Balmer Lawrie get in a sense of the future guidance, the organic growth opportunities. Prabal Basu, the chairman and MD at Balmer Lawrie, joins us in the show right now. Mr. Basu, you've recently stated that you're eyeing organic growth opportunities across 6 SBUs. Can you explain the detailed plans?
We have thought about it, and based on our current plans, we are thinking that currently, at least for the next 2-3 years, we are not looking at any inorganic growth, and we are pursuing organic growth. That's what is known as the expansion of facilities, so setting up new facilities and growing in the existing lines of business. That is what we have meant. Like to give an example, presently we are in the process of setting up another industrial packaging plant at Gujarat. So this is the 7th factory which we will be having. So this is something which we are looking this sort of an expansion. So we are not looking for acquisitions at this moment of time, because the problem is that in the case of in which we explained in that interview also, that we have a net worth of around 1,000 crores in the books of the company. And as a prudent norms, normally any acquisition or any business venture, they say that 15%, more than 15% of in a one particular activity of net worth to invest is a risky business. So we, if you do think that 150 crores to have an acquisition, I think in the current world it's a very small thing and it may not affect us much. So that's why we are thinking that let us not go ahead in that. Let us try to expand the facilities, try to get garner more market share, have more volume. So that's sort of a strategy we are trying to take.
Okay. Your Kolkata plant of industrial packaging was not quite functioning properly because of the lack of orders. Do you see the order visibility continuing to be low, or do you think there could be an improvement there?
Right. In fact, what has happened is this industrial packaging plant, this depended heavily on the oil company business. Because in eastern part, as you all know, that industrial growth has been lacking for the last so many years. So there is not much of a private sector business, mainly because this, to give you a background, this packaging business heavily depends on growth of the chemical sector, apart from the lube sector. Now, because of the MSME guidelines, we are debarred from competing in the PSU business, PSU lube business, which is the major business in eastern India. So that's why the volumes have gone down drastically, because we can't compete in that sector. In the chemical sector, there has not been much of a growth in this part of the world. So the volumes are not high. This has led to losses in that unit. So what we are trying to look at is that we are trying to find out whether we can get into some other forms of barrels or some new types of industrial packaging, etc. Those things are getting evaluated, and I think we are looking in that, because barrels and drums in the conventional form, I don't think there is enough business in eastern India which can make it viable.
Right. Since your net worth is close to 1,000 crores and only 15% could have been used for inorganic growth, we understand you have dropped plans for buyouts?
Yeah, in fact, last few years we have been doing Capex of around 70-80 crores or 100 crores. That has been last 2-3 years thing. In fact, we would like to continue in that form only, about 100 odd crores in the next couple of years at least, and then probably think about something bigger. Because we are also in a phase of consolidation at this moment, because we have set up new 3 facilities for temperature control warehouses. We have also set up a MMLH at Vizag. All this will get into stream this year, and naturally we need some time for stabilization. But the Capex plan is around 100 crores per year from now on.
Right. What is the visibility on the CFS business given certain temporary disruptions because of the centre's directive of direct delivery to import points from the plants? How are you coping with this uncertainty?
No, in fact, to clarify, actually there is no uncertainty per se, because now the government has put that as a permanent thing, that it is a minimum 40% direct delivery from the ports to the importers and exporters. So that is the thing which has come to stay. We have been affected from last year. The volumes have come down. In fact, all CFS have been affected. The volumes mainly got affected in the Bombay port, where that now it is 40% DPD. So we have also got a hit in both the top line and bottom line of that activity. But in the other ports, it was already more than 30%. So it was a marginal impact. All those impacts have come in. That's a big challenge, definitely, because all CFS are facing this challenge, how to cope, get additional volume, because these volumes have come down for all the CFS activities. This is one great challenge, but we are trying to give value-added services, we are trying to handle LCL cargo, or even we are saying that DPD, there is another new business line which is coming up, is that DPD, which containers which are getting cleared under DPD, they also need to be stored for some time. But there the revenue streams is much lesser. But that also we are targeting. In fact, in Bombay, we have already got some cargo like that. We have registered for that service also. So those are the additional volumes we are targeting, and definitely additional customers. The imports are increasing. So in spite of that 40% I think the future looks bright. In fact, we should be able to garner volumes to get over this crisis.
Okay, you've also begun operations of a temperature controlled warehouse, as we understand. How have these operations played out, and are you planning to scale up this exercise?
At this point of time, we have two temperature control warehouses operating, one in southern India in Hyderabad and the other near Delhi in Rai. The third one is getting commissioned in the second half of the year. It is being constructed in near Bombay in Patal Ganga. So we are trying to, we're thinking that we should stabilize these three, then go for the next phase where we have a thought process of having another 4 like this. The present status is that in both in the Hyderabad and Rai, we have a capacity utilization of around 40%. And we expect that within a couple of months, it should be shooting up to something like 70%. The industry norm is that you need to have around 70-75% to start making profits. But this is the gestation period, and things are under control, and things are looking up definitely. We are having products like dairy products, meat, and etc. in our cold storages. This is the temperature control warehouse where we have different chambers with different temperature ranges, and so naturally we keep different types of cargo there.
Right, please leave us with the guidance across your various business units then.
In fact, the thrust is on, I would say, definitely because on the logistics sector where the growth potentials remains, and we see a lot of activities in that sector because with the economy growing, the logistics sector is definitely going to boom, and we have a very small share in that, so the headroom is there. And we need to grow in that activity. That in fact, if you study our balance sheet over the years, that has been the revenue generator for the company in terms of profits. So we are looking this as a major thrust area, coupled with grease and lubricants and to some extent industrial packaging. That is the way forward we are looking at it. And along with that, we want to diverse in the areas like this temperature control warehouse, etc. These are also part of logistics, but I think these are the new areas which we are getting into. But the overall thrust, I would say, to put it in the order, is logistics number 1, number 2 grease and lubricants, and then the industrial packaging. That is the order where the thrust should be on the coming years.
Thanks very much for joining us with those details on your business. Appreciate your time and your insights.